Have you ever tried really, really hard to convince someone you're being authentic? The moment you start trying to prove your realness is the exact moment it evaporates into thin air, leaving behind a cringy, transparent performance. And folks, you're about to witness an Olympic-level performance in the art of trying too hard, courtesy of the one and only Meghan Markle. The bare-faced gambit.
It'll be fun.
Hi, crew.
You made me cry. Good thing I have no makeup on.
You look so pretty.
I have not done a show with no makeup since my 1,000 QVC shows.
Do you think
The stage was set on the Jamie Kern-Lima Show, a podcast hosted by the billionaire founder of IT Cosmetics. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, was the star guest. The entire event was meticulously packaged and presented to the world as her most vulnerable, raw, and unfiltered interview to date. The marketing was clear. No professional makeup, no restrictive royal script, just Meghan, clad in cozy sweatpants, ready to bare her soul. It was a classic PR move, designed to dismantle the polished, untouchable image of a duchess and replace it with the warm, relatable vibe of a girlfriend you'd share secrets with over a bottle of wine. From the moment the video dropped, however, the internet's collective BS detector started screaming. The no makeup claim, in particular, was met with a tidal wave of skepticism. In the hyper-curated world of celebrity, no makeup is rarely what it seems. It's often the result of a team of expert artists working for hours with hundreds of dollars worth of product to create a look of effortless, dewy perfection. Observers immediately pointed out that while she may have skipped the heavy eyeliner, her skin was flawlessly even, and her hair was perfectly blown out. It wasn't a renunciation of vanity. It was a different, more subtle performance of it. This wasn't just about cosmetics. It was about the fundamental promise of the interview. The entire premise was built on a foundation of stripping away artifice, yet the very first thing viewers noticed felt like a carefully constructed illusion. The scene was a masterclass in calculated relatability, from the relaxed fit clothing to the casually intimate setting. It was a performance of simplicity, an attempt to connect with an audience that has grown increasingly weary of polished perfection. But by trying to manufacture a moment of raw authenticity, the production inadvertently highlighted just how manufactured it all was. It was a gamble that didn't pay off, setting a tone of suspicion that would linger over the entire interview. Anatomy of a tear.
So beautiful.
Oh, I don't know, I wasn't expecting that one.
Sure you were.
Yeah, it's just so great. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. Yeah.
Every good performance needs an emotional climax, and this interview was no exception. The big moment arrived when the conversation turned to motherhood. Meghan, with a soft, wistful tone, began reading from a nightly email she supposedly writes to her children. As the words flowed, her voice started to catch, her eyes welled up, and she paused, overcome with emotion, to gently wipe away a tear. And then, as if on cue, came the line that shattered the illusion for so many. With a small, knowing laugh, she looked at the host and said, "This is why it's nice not to have makeup on." In that single, self-aware moment, the fourth wall didn't just break, it was obliterated. The comment instantly transformed a seemingly private, emotional experience into a public spectacle. It was as if an actor had paused mid-soliloquy to compliment the stage lighting. The internet's reaction was immediate and merciless. The phrase "crocodile tears" flooded social media platforms, with users replaying the clip, dissecting her delivery, and declaring the entire scene a rehearsed piece of emotional theater. Royal commentator Alexander Lerman was even more blunt, branding the display as despicable and pathetic. He argued it was a transparent and desperate attempt by Meghan to claw her way back into the public's good graces by weaponizing her maternal feelings. The critique wasn't just that she was being emotional, it was that she seemed to be directing her own emotional scene, fully aware of the cameras and the narrative she was crafting. The goal was to showcase her deep maternal heart. But the execution felt so polished, and the pivotal line so perfectly placed, that it ended up looking like just another scene from a well-acted, but ultimately unconvincing, show. The gospel of hard work.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard and I like working hard and I'm still working hard. The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done.
Yeah.
It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the timing on that and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line.
After the emotional peak, the interview pivoted to a topic that would prove to be even more damaging: Meghan's grueling work ethic. With the utmost sincerity, she lamented that people simply don't grasp the immense effort that goes into her life. She painted a picture of herself as a relentless hustler, constantly juggling an overwhelming number of responsibilities. And what exactly does this crushing workload consist of? She graciously listed her duties for us: writing newsletters, crafting social media captions, planning the next product drops for her lifestyle brand, editing her Netflix show, and, on top of all that, fulfilling the demanding roles of being a mom, a wife, and a friend. The collective groan from the public was practically audible. Her definition of hard work landed with a thud in a world where most working mothers are juggling multiple jobs, childcare, and mountains of debt without the help of a Montecito mansion and a full household staff. Her complaints about the stress of writing an Instagram post came across as profoundly tone-deaf and laughably out of touch. Commentators like Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, and Dave Portnoy wasted no time in calling her out. Portnoy, in particular, noted the absurdity of someone with her immense privilege complaining about the pressures of entrepreneurship, a field where most people don't have a multi-million-dollar safety net to catch them if they fall. This narrative of the overworked Duchess was further complicated by the circulation of reports concerning the couple's Arkawell Foundation. Tax documents allegedly showed that both Harry and Meghan reported working an average of just 1 hour per week for their charity. Whether entirely accurate or not, the headline alone was a PR catastrophe, directly contradicting the image of the tireless go-getter she was trying to sell in the interview. Her attempt to portray herself as a relatable, hard-working mom backfired spectacularly, making her seem less like a woman of the people and more like a resident of a completely different planet. The $20 million ghost of podcasts passed.
The problem with it, and the problem with Meghan Markle in general.
Meghan's choice to appear as a podcast guest was particularly interesting given her own spectacular failure in the medium. It's easy to forget the sheer scale of the hype back in 2020, when she and Prince Harry signed an exclusive, jaw-droppingly massive $20 million deal with Spotify. The streaming giant was betting big that the royal defectors would become the king and queen of podcasting, producing hit after hit. The result of this colossal investment was a single 12-episode series called Archetypes. Launched in 2022, the show aimed to dissect and challenge the labels that try to hold women back. It boasted a guest list that was a veritable who's who of Hollywood, including Serena Williams, Mariah Carey, and Mindy Kaling. Despite the star power, the podcast was a critical dud. It was widely panned for being the very thing it claimed to fight against, a performance. Critics described it as overproduced, over-rehearsed, and insufferably self-indulgent. One of the most brutal reviews from The Independent called an episode the most self-congratulatory 57 minutes of audio you'll hear all year. Worse still were the behind-the-scenes rumors that Meghan hadn't even conducted some of the interviews herself, with her audio allegedly being edited in after the fact by her production team. By June 2023, Spotify had had enough. They unceremoniously pulled the plug on the deal, with one of their top executives, Bill Simmons, publicly labeling the couple effing grifters. It was a stunning and humiliating end to their podcasting empire. Viewed through this lens, her appearance on Jamie Kern Lima's show looks less like a casual chat and more like a carefully planned PR mission, an attempt to exorcise the ghosts of archetypes and prove to the world, and perhaps to future investors, that she can, in fact, handle a microphone. The cheerleader-in-chief.
You're an American comedian, actress, and writer. I just had my genealogy done a couple years ago.
What? What are you?
43% Nigerian.
No way! No, whoa, Jacqueline!
No performance is complete without a supporting cast. And in this production, the role of Meghan's #1 fan was played with unwavering dedication by the host, Jamie Kern Lima. A billionaire beauty mogul in her own right, Lima wasn't there to ask tough questions or facilitate a balanced conversation. She was there to cheerlead. From the very beginning, her interview style was described by viewers as fawning, sycophantic, and painfully awkward. Her high-pitched, almost childlike tone and breathless praise for Meghan felt less like professional hosting and more like a fan who had won a contest to meet her idol. Throughout the interview, Lima served up a series of softball questions that seemed designed to allow Meghan to deliver pre-planned monologues. She gushed over Meghan's authenticity, praised her incredible work ethic, and reacted to every anecdote with wide-eyed, exaggerated wonder. It created a bizarre feedback loop of flattery, a hermetically sealed echo chamber where every word Meghan spoke was treated as profound wisdom. One commenter on social media perfectly captured the dynamic, noting that it felt like they were both reading from the same PR playbook. The host's role should have been to ground the conversation, to provide a touch of objective reality. Instead, Lima's performance only amplified the artificiality of the entire affair. Her constant, over-the-top validation made the interview feel even more like a staged production. It wasn't a genuine dialogue. It was a duet of inauthenticity, a synchronized performance that left many viewers cringing and reaching for the off button. Ultimately, this podcast appearance, intended to be a triumph of vulnerability, became a case study in how not to seem authentic. It was an hour-long special that promised a peek behind the curtain, but instead just showed us a more elaborately constructed stage. Every calculated tear, every out-of-touch complaint, and every fawning compliment only served to widen the gulf between the woman on the screen and the audience she so desperately wants to connect with. But what do you think? Was this a misunderstood attempt at a genuine connection, or was it one of the most awkward and transparent PR moves in recent memory? Let me know your theories in the comments.